Warning! The following audio may contain coarse language and other material that may not be suitable for a younger audience. Listener discretion is advised. Also, we may spoil anything and everything, so you have been warned. Hey guys, it's Gigguk here. So, unfortunately, I recorded this podcast with a microphone that I didn't intend to record with. So, apologies for sounding like I'm talking through a potato in this podcast. Apart from that, please enjoy the episode.
Well, I've been at bloody anime conventions, and I had like spare Pocky from the combags, so I'm going to be munching on Pocky during this. Oh man, this is actually pretty good Pocky, I'm not going to lie.
Subjective.
I feel like such a fucking weeb right now.
Talking to your friends about anime while eating Pocky.
Yeah,
I remember distinctly. I remember the moment I found out.
That's the weeb life. You fucking manga shagger.
This is important and relates. The first time I heard the word Pocky was in Garnt's video where he says, and I quote, "Pocky scoffing otaku," and I was like, "What the fuck is a pokey?" Like,
what's a Pocky?
I was like, "Is he just making a slang about Pokemon?"
Mm-hmm. Nah, man. A Pocky is what you give to the girl you like.
Ha! My roll is crunchy. Lunching on some sushi when I get the munchies.
Alright, so I can shut Jimmy up. Hello, and welcome to another episode of PodTaku. I know on the last episode I promised you new members, but fuck you, we've got the same people we had last time. Just
What's up?
Just fucking deal with it. So with me today, I have Holden from HoldenReviews.
The one and only.
Jimmy from Anime Editorial.
Konnichiwa, minasan. Minasan genki desu ka? What's up, guys?
And I have Alain from Bakashift.
I don't know what to say right now.
How's that Pocky
It's just,
stuff?
oh god,
Pocky that
fuck
you
is
do.
amazing. So, before we start, I know on the last episode we were about to talk about gangster, and I feel like that's a good topic to start off on. Because that is one topic. That is one anime that I've been watching in the season.
That is an anime. I can confirm.
It is an anime that exists.
As much as Google will like to tell you otherwise, when you search up gangster, you will most likely find members of the African American variety posing in very suggestive, manners, holding weaponry and jewelry.
Yeah.
So
There's also some pictures of Jimmy.
What kind of weaponry? Are we talking like glaives or like a some form of polearm, perhaps a halberd?
This is weaponry.
Perhaps a halberd.
This is weaponry of the firepower variety.
See, that's what you need. You need more rap videos of people holding like
just rapiers and shit.
not even that. Like I'd say like rap videos where they're manning traditional siege weaponry. Just like imagine just like NWA just around a
Niggas ain't
trebuchet.
fucking with my catapult. They ain't fucking with my catapult.
The whole video, like whenever they talk about just fucking plowing a woman, they just show a fucking battery ram on a fucking siege wall.
Oh, the metaphor.
man.
Oh, Jimmy, you need to get on this.
My battery ram.
Your next mixtape, you need a.
This is all up to Kanye West. We know you're listening, Kanye, because we've seen your Zaku. We know what's up. So
Yeah,
make it happen. Thank
Make
you.
it happen. Yep. Oh, I need to get on talking about traditional weaponry. I need to.
Yeah, I mean, you did.
I need to have the illest glaive on the mic.
Yep.
Like illest. All right.
I mean, it's interesting because you talk about the weapons of the firearm sense with gangsters, yet in Gangsta,
Yeah, they don't
they're
use
using
those.
they're using swords.
He uses a katana.
I use a fucking katana.
Yeah, no, actually,
And
the fucking
fucking
thing
knives?
is, they say something really funny because in the first episode, I think,
Yes.
this one dude is like he's using a samurai sword. What the fuck? Do all Asians carry samurai swords or something? And I was just like, that's surprisingly racist for a show made in Japan.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Japan's good at being racist. Shield 21.
Yeah, especially against themselves. Funny enough.
One of my favorite things that Japan did with something like that was in Black Lagoon. Whatever Remy says, like, do you understand that Chinglish? And it was so great.
Oh my! Well, was that in the actual episode, or was that a localization from the dubbing? Because I remember.
I think it was.
Because
I,
I remember
Who
they
watched Black Lagoon subbed? Let's just first figure that out.
I don't know who was Black Lagoon.
Plebs.
It's like the only excuse was like to watch Roberta's Blood Trail at the time.
I feel like the only thing, like, I don't think any of the hard, I like to call them like, and Gangster kind of fits into this mold. Hardcore anime, kind of like High School of the Dead, Black Lagoon.
Hardcore anime.
Like, like
I take
feel
my
like
anime on the rocks.
like even Kekai Sensen kind of.
Okay, now you're pushing it, kid.
In a straight, maybe.
Wait.
Stretch.
Just explain this category, because I just heard High School of the Dead, and Black Lagoon, and I was just like, are they in the same category?
They are kind of, because
they've got guns in.
Yeah, they both have guns, which is
they're
really rare.
They're generally aimed at blokes.
Yeah,
you see some skin.
Yeah, they're usually more adult, or they have more adult themes. They don't have that many. They don't have that many typical otaku things in them. Like, there's no kawaii emotos in them.
But dude, the fucking omake episodes for Black Lagoon where Revy turns into a schoolgirl.
I mean, like, but those things are kind of there just as a joke for the sake of the joke.
That is the joke.
Well, the thing is though, Jimmy, there are zombies in High School of the Dead, and Black Lagoon has like a fit, burnt Russian woman.
Yeah.
Wait, doesn't Black Lagoon have like not Nazi zombies though?
No, I think you're thinking about Hellsing.
No, that's Hellsing. That's Hellsing. Hellsing also.
They do have Nazis in it, but not Nazi zombies.
That's another one I would say also fits into this.
It's
category
got like terrifying children.
Because I remember the World War II episode with the submarine. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that episode's pro.
All of those shows, I prefer to watch them dubbed, because in and of themselves, they already have more Western themes. They're less Japanese than your typical anime.
It's easy for us to say.
I know that's easy for us to say, but that's because the
immediate question I have to ask you then is a very obvious one, which is, then what would Gangsta be like dubbed?
What would Gangsta be like dubbed? I don't know.
It'd be in English.
Everybody, it would be. I mean, everybody would have a mafioso accent, like bada bing, bada boom, everybody come over here, that kind of thing. I don't know, maybe.
I mean,
what's you mentioned, for instance, Kenkai Sensen, which has been dubbed. So, like, Garn, I'm going to pass it over to you. What did you think of the Kenkai Sensen dub, then?
I actually haven't seen it dubbed.
The dub is alright. The dub isn't the greatest, and I think that's the disadvantage of a broadcast dub, because that they didn't have the time, as much time as they usually do. Having said that
are they remaking it then?
Yeah, they're remaking it for the Blu-ray.
Okay.
But I still enjoyed it, because I still, looking at anime set in New York and just hearing the dub voices, I enjoyed it. And for Keikai Sensen is an anime that I've watched both dubbed and subbed, so I can safely say that while the sub is better, as just to get the whole atmosphere of the show, I actually preferred watching the dub, which is,
and sometimes
which says a lot of good things about the future, because when they actually do the proper dub, because I mean this is with a broadcast dub, which I'm assuming general quality of broadcast dubs is going to be a lot lower.
Yeah. Sometimes I think, like, when you watch a dubbed anime, sometimes, like, especially when they don't take the dub that seriously and they're kind of taking their liberties, like High School of the Dead.
Yeah,
like High School of the Dead. You have that usually ends up with you having some priceless lines. For example, "Bitch, this is Dolce and Gabbana" is one of my favorite lines said in an anime of all time.
I remember that.
Like, it's great. Like, sometimes they do take those kinds of liberties and shit, and I think they even had some of that in Panty and Stocking. So, like, that, that when it comes, it's stuff that obviously doesn't translate in Japanese, and Japan has a lot of cultural references and whatnot put in. And I know the idea of people saying that cultural references kind of being changed is kind of what makes anime. So why would you?
Let's dub Bakemonogatari.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
That's one more thing. That's the one thing I'll say.
Tatami Galaxy.
That's the one thing I'll say you should never dub. It's the undubbable. Like, dubbing Bakemonogatari wouldn't help anyone. It wouldn't help
the
people.
Undubbable, beat the unbeatable.
row,
find the power.
No, like, it would. As I said, it wouldn't help anybody. Like, it wouldn't help the show itself. It wouldn't help the people who wanted to watch it, because it would be a strange dub. Like, it wouldn't.
Well, I don't think anyone really wants it, to be fair. I don't think anyone cares.
No one's calling for it.
Everyone who cares about Bakemonogatari has
seen it.
Exactly.
That's the only reason they care about it, to be fair.
Because, the basic thing is, I don't even know how the Monogatari series got so popular in the first place.
Nobody does.
Because it's edgy as fuck.
No, there's just a lot of women in it.
That genuinely, like, boggles my mind.
Actually, why it got popular? It got popular because it was just like Haruhi. It's one of the first light novel adaptations in anime to incorporate, like, meta elements. You know what I mean? Like, it's incorporated, and I know this is coming from the person who loves meta elements to death. But Nisio Isin always employs that kind of writing style in his work, like. And
then just in before Medaka Box.
Not just Medaka Box, even in Katana Gatari, and and Zaragoto, and so, you know, a lot of his earlier stuff, he had the same style of.
I think it just really comes down to waifus, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure, like, for me, the reason why Monogatari's always been popular is because it is very much just like a ridiculously ecchi harem that presents itself as something else, so people can watch it and just be like, yeah, I'm watching this cool arty show, but in the end of the day, you're watching it for the boobies.
It's like, Mom, I'm not watching porn. This is art.
But the thing is, at the same time, some people like having their smut to have some substance, and let's all be serious.
No, I got a perfect example. It's like when girls read 50 Shades of Grey and they're like, "This isn't porn. This is a legitimate story."
This is erotic.
This is fictitious writing at its finest.
They say this is dramatic erotica, and I'm like, okay, erotica meaning porn. Like, no, erotica doesn't mean porn.
What's interesting is that I do not think that's bad. I don't think that women. I think women should have more porn like that, I guess, available to them.
Yeah.
Which is why it's really interesting whenever stuff like... That's why I love seeing like the success of stuff like, for instance, Pillow Boys, right? Or Free. Where it's like all this shit aimed at women.
No, I don't understand the entire backlash when Free first came out. Like, I remember the internet cried out.
That backlash was overblown. The people who actually didn't, you know, the people who actually were unhappy about Free are people who are unhappy about a lot of things when it comes to anime, and those people should never be taken seriously.
I mean, those people. I mean, if you don't like Free, that's fine. Like, first off, you don't have to like Free.
You don't have to, like, no one's forcing you to watch it. Anime isn't changing or becoming worse.
I don't think that anyone should have that kind of instilled mindset, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, so to get back to Gangsta, I guess what's interesting about this was it being a fairly successful like manga. It also, in the same sense, had this kind of predisposition towards it, where like everyone I heard talking about it was like, "Oh, manga this, manga that," and I was like, "All right, whatever." And I had never read the manga, so when I watched it, I remember I was like, "Okay, I get it, but the execution needs some work." But I understand the appeal of it.
It definitely does.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
I think the execution is like the biggest thing that's always limiting.
But the thing is, right, when it comes to the execution, I feel like they succeed in so many areas that the areas they don't succeed in are kind of overlooked almost.
I think it just becomes more jarring then. I think that if you have a baseline and you just drop way below it. For instance, like, I don't know if anyone has seen the new Dragon Ball Super. Right?
Oh no, gosh!
I've seen a bit of it.
I've seen is those recent screenshots where it looks like a melted dick.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has seen the recent one, and it looks like what happened was like somewhere,
it looks like Toei outsourced Newgrounds animators to.
I was going to say it looks like what they did was they're like, okay, so here's what we need. We need Ego Raptor, and we need Oni cartoons, and we're just going to make Dragon Ball Z. And,
exactly.
Here we go. Shout out to my boy Kalen Whitfield, by the way, kicking it at ADHD Fox Network, because he actually had to make a parody of Dragon Ball Z for a Funimation party, and it's just crazy. If you can just look at ADHD Dragon Ball Z parody, it's pretty on point.
Yeah.
But when it drops low, it really is noticeable. I feel like it's something that I can't overlook.
Yeah.
I think that it's the thing that I keep thinking about when I see it.
Are we talking about Gangsta or Dragon Ball Super?
Both.
I completely agree with you, because the thing is, I could see so many things done right, especially in the first episode, but
with the atmosphere, the background design, the set design, everything works.
But when I was just looking for that, yes, this is awesome moment, it would just felt a bit flat, and I was like...
When it was at its worst, it was looking like what I expected stuff like Rail Wars to look like at its absolute worst.
Yeah.
Because I remember what I loved about Rail Wars when it was broadcast was it wasn't that the show was just awful looking, because it could be at some points, but it was just really inconsistent. Like, the animators were all like not talking to each other, like characters were holding things, like wearing certain clothes, and then the next scene they weren't.
Yeah,
and like, but
the thing is,
there was a technical error, and then, like, this is just like they don't do it.
The thing about Gangsta is those technical errors. The problem with Gangsta is everything is planned out. Everything is thought out really well. Geography is fine. Where everything is fine. How the characters move around.
I wish it was animated well then.
Yeah, it's what I'm getting to is
put the anime in animation.
How everything moves is the only problem. Like,
and that's a pretty big one when you're dealing with anime. That's the thing.
It's a huge problem, and that's the reason I'm holding out. Since Gangsta, as far as I'm seeing, it looks at the moment to be a very popular series, and despite its production problems, despite its production issues, it's doing pretty well for itself. I feel like if they are...
That's because of the manga, though.
Yeah, if they are licensed with a better budget after this season,
which I don't think they will be.
And that's the best case scenario. If they're licensed with a better budget,
that is best case scenario.
The problem is, the reason why is because no one's gonna give Studio Manglobe of all people.
The thing is, Manglobe have made good-looking shit. I mean, let's talk about Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, we're not.
You know what I mean?
Garn, just to make you feel old for a second, that was literally over a decade ago.
Yeah, that was
so
I know.
No, but and as someone who's been following a lot of Manglobe's work, the last show they did was Samurai Flamenco, and that had a lot of production issues. And when I say a lot, I mean sometimes it was.
I would say that's even better looking though.
Yeah, and
so Sam Flam had crap tons of problems with it, but I thought it looked all right.
It looked, but and the thing is, Gangster looks all right as well. It just shines through whenever they do, like. They needed to pull out all the stops for the fight scenes in this show because it's an action.
It's ironic because you're exactly right. Like that is different. The spotlight
because it's an action heavy show. It's an action heavy manga.
If it had the same level of animation as something like Black Lagoon, which is the anime that's very similar to it, it would be fucking amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just missing.
And that's the reason why. That's the reason why, as much as I love Manglobe, when I heard Manglobe was handling this, just a series, when I heard Manglobe was working on it, I kind of and don't get me wrong, I do like Manglobe and I do like this season. I like the show. I like the show as it is, despite the problems. I kind of felt a pang of regret. I was thinking, man, if only Bones got this.
Yeah, but I mean,
man.
Okay. This actually brings me to a very interesting topic because, so it's been a while since I talked before the last podcast since I talked to you guys. So, obviously we've been talking.
How's it going?
With other people. Yeah.
What do you want from me?
How's it going, guys? But so I was with my friend Mike Oliveras. Shout out if you're listening to this.
Hey.
And we were having a drink one day. And we decided that it would be a fun thought experiment just to make an animation tier of basically anime studios, solely based on animation.
Sure.
And what they're capable of.
My degree.
And the thing is, from what I've analyzed, like personally, I feel at the top would be Ufotable, KyoAni, Production IG, and Madhouse. Those four off the top of my head are sitting right at...
Are we going by like their best work or by an average?
We say an average because otherwise...
If we're going by an average, I think there would be like UFO Table and KyoAni would be on the top tier.
Yeah.
And then the other two would be a step below.
I think I agree with that. And I think what's interesting is that below, like at the same tier as Madhouse, I would definitely consider Mappa. I really would.
Yeah.
I was saying.
But the thing is, Mappa's still very young.
Mappa's still very young, but they haven't made a misstep yet.
They're the same studio that made Shingeki no Bahamut and Zankyo no Terror. Like, that's fucking crazy. In the same year.
Yeah.
In the same year, yeah, I know.
It's fucking insane.
Even Garrow was pro. Like,
and Garrow also looked great.
Garrow was alright.
Yeah, name me a bad-looking Mappa anime.
No, because I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Even
they don't have one.
There's only like 4 to choose from.
I know people who told me Punchline, and I was just like, no, it doesn't look
even
bad.
Punchline looks good though.
Punchline
Its design is simplistic. That's what they think is bad animation.
Yeah, its design looks more like it's Sushio. It's not Sushio. It's something that looks a lot like Sushio.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's something that looks something Sushio. And if people who don't know, Sushio is the character designer for Kill la Kill. So character designs in that vein. I feel like that's a fairly new style of animation or style of design, if you know what I mean, Holden. The Sushio-esque Gurren Lagann Kill la Kill style-ish kind of thing. You know where I'm trying to go with this, right?
No, I understand. And I think in a tier below that, just for their inconsistencies, you'd have to include people like PA Works.
Yeah, PA Works A1.
But here's the thing, right?
And JC Staff. JC Staff is actually
if we're going by average, that's the
JC Staff, really?
I don't know.
JC Staff.
They're not in the same tier as PA Works.
No,
I'd honestly put PA Works on the same level as IG.
Because the thing is, JC Staff, I feel like they're turning it around within like the past 2-3 years.
I think PA Works just like the whole thing. They're just a cut above though. Like PA Works is always the edge.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a bad looking PA Works.
No, nor have I. And you look at something like Nagino Asakara.
Like, I mean, like Glass Slip was a piece of shit, but it still looked nice.
Yeah, and the funny thing
exactly.
The funny thing about PA Works is they're kind of like silent hitmen, because you don't hear that much about PA Works. You don't hear a whole big bunch of hullabaloo about what they make. Their shows don't necessarily get that much.
But like that's what's so interesting about PA. I love PA Works. I went on record saying that, like, outside of Ufotable, I think they're like one of my favorite studios.
Yeah,
because you never know what you're gonna get. Because
they make absolutely beautiful and atmospheric shows.
Because like if you look at something like Nagano Asakara, that like always takes the cake with atmospheric. Exactly. It's like one of the most evocative anime in that sense I've ever seen. And it's really interesting when you turn to something like that, and then, like, for instance, Angel Beats, right? Or if you turn in a completely different direction, something like True Tears. They're a really interesting studio to look at, because their work, although it seems like it's following a very simple baseline, or even like Hanosakura Iroha, right?
The only problem I have is the whole Key adaptation thing is my only issue, because I've never been into the Key series.
But that's
they don't really do those.
They've never done one.
They've never done like a Key.
The only Key thing they've done was Angel Beats.
Angel Beats and now Charlotte. And those aren't adaptations.
And those aren't necessarily adaptations, but they still have the same, like...
It's Junma Dema,
yeah. It's not what I would associate PA Works with, at all.
No, but they did do a very, very good job with Shirobako.
Shirobako was fucking amazing.
They did a great job with Shirobako.
I mean, like, that's why I love PA
I feel like
Works.
Shirobako, if you are a fan of, and not just animation, if you're a fan of the whole medium,
usually they go hand in hand.
If you're a fan of the medium of animation to any degree and are interested in anything that has to do with it, it's probably a love letter to those kinds of people.
Yeah, I mean, like, Shirobako to me will always be this interesting anime,
especially if you've attempted and failed to get into the industry. It also really resonates with you at that point.
Well, it doesn't resonate with me yet.
I mean, obviously you haven't failed. I mean, no one, like, I know people who have worked and tried and not necessarily made it where they wanted to go, and they tell me that Shirobako actually does encapsulate that story.
Shirobako is really interesting.
I just love how it doesn't over glamorize anything.
Yeah,
like I think that the show that a lot of us will compare Shirobako to and see and in terms on two different sides of it is Bakuman.
Because
Bakuman very much like glorifies it.
Yeah,
and puts its whole like competitive shonen spin on it, and it's still a great show.
Shirobako felt more like a documentary, like an animated documentary.
Yeah, it did very much feel like a documentary.
Shirobako, another show I'd compare it to, alongside Bakuman, would be Blue Blazers, Aoi Hono, if you guys are aware of that show.
I know this is,
Yeah, no,
it's actually I would actually recommend that show to anybody who likes anime, because it's a J-drama, and it's
the one where it has Hideki Anno and stuff.
It's basically about a guy in college trying, he's in school to be an animator. For anime and manga, he grows up to be a mangaka, but he's also in school with the real life Hideaki Anno.
Yes,
and
so it's like basically the formation of Gainax and stuff.
There are two stories in the show.
Yes.
One is of this main character's story of how he became a manga artist, and the second is basically how Gainax became a thing.
Yeah, it's a really cool J-drama.
That sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really
anything
relevant.
with Hideaki Anno is pretty sweet.
No, and Hideaki Anno's character in this series is probably the coolest. Like anyone
Granted, important disclaimer: this is not Hideaki Anno. It is a representation.
It's a representation.
Of Hideaki Anno.
It's a fictional Anno. Yeah. It's not the actual Anno. But anyone who's interested in Hideaki Anno as a person will find a lot to love in his character.
Do you know what? If we're talking about real life characters who I want to see in a show, I would love to see a Hideo Kojima character.
Oh, dude! Would you? Can you imagine?
Dude, he would just be like, "Man, fuck Konami, dude. I don't need PT was never released. Metal Gear Solid, I was fired." And then he would just be this really silly guy who just goes on. He's just like, "I like movies a lot."
I like movies a lot.
He's just like, Mad Max is my favorite movie ever.
And he'd be making eggs Benedict, and he'd be like, "Hey, if you touch them, they jiggle like boobies." Like,
this is amazing.
That's exactly what he does on Twitter.
Mind of Hideaki Anno. It'd be a funny anime.
Yeah, it would be a funny anime. Okay, I'm gonna shout out some more studios here, and let's see where they place. Shaft, Bones, and Studio Wit.
It's pretty high.
Shaft Bones
really
would both go on the second tier, right next to Production IG and Madhouse. Shaft and Bones, in my opinion.
I mean, for me, Shaft would go a step down, but
Yeah,
that's personal
yeah.
preference.
I think.
Maybe it's because I'm just like a Shaft fan, I guess.
You are. No, it's true. I think you are, and I think that's what's.
And I think the main thing for me is that, like, with Shaft, I can't like sort of assess.
Yeah, because
pure animation skill.
They hide it. They hide it in their art style and just their visuals, basically.
It's basically like an abridged series where you're trying to hide the fact that you can't animate, so you're just taking mouth flaps.
Exactly.
And then you've got things like Macaco City Actors, where it's just like, okay, yeah, this actually does look like shit.
No, but the thing is, right? If you watch Madoka. Or if you
But
watch
see,
some
no,
of them,
we're going by average. Because otherwise, I bring it to Tom the Galaxy.
I'm going by average. Like, if you watch Madoka and if you watch, on average, some of the stuff like...
So you're just saying, like, Arakawa Under the Bridge is just a masterpiece.
The better parts of Monogatari and some of the... And Kofuku Graffiti.
Graffiti, shout out.
Stuff like Kofuku Graffiti. Stuff like that. All of those actually work. All of those work as... as animation.
What do you mean by work?
When I say work, I mean like they look good as animated pieces.
But the thing is that they do not exhibit the trait to an nth degree, and I think that's the biggest thing. When they have to do it, they do it great.
Yeah.
But just because you have a good demo reel doesn't mean all your work shines.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think...
If they made a demo reel, it'd be fantastic.
I don't think they're as consistent as, like, let's say, PA Works or Bones. Or
no,
whatever.
I don't think they are. I think Bones is far more consistent.
But the thing about Bones that carries them, and Holden will agree with me, it's their choreography. That's
a big part of it.
It's the fact that they have directors and animators who understand space. Like that's their biggest part.
I mean, their principles of animation are just really solid. Like I think they're just all really good animators. Like even if you look at something like a Captain Planet, Captain Earth, right?
Yeah, Captain Earth.
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. Like, if you look at
Someone had to make that mistake again.
If you look at Captain Planet, you're like, man.
To be honest, when Captain Earth started, that was what everyone was fucking calling it.
Everyone, right? Yeah. So if we look at, for instance, Captain Earth, not Captain Planet, sorry, cartoon fans.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, right? I remember the first thing we all thought, whenever we all saw it, our immediate thoughts were, holy shit, that robot looks like it was drawn. And oh my god, it was drawn.
They're one of the last bastions of hand-drawn robots, next to Sunrise.
Yeah. And
aside from Sunrise, they're one of the only studios doing hand-drawn robots.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they are, actually.
And it makes me sad.
Where does Sunrise sit? Because
that's a really good question.
I feel like Sunrise... Is that a Shaft level?
Well, no, okay, Sunrise, it goes on a level above UFO Table and KyoAni, because everything they do looks like Gundam, therefore it's objectively better than everything else.
It's interesting, right?
No, the thing
because
about
Sunrise can do anything.
Yeah.
Because Sunrise's distinct style is never there.
The thing is, Sunrise can go really up and really down as well.
Because you can look at something like Planetes, right? Which just looks amazing, right? I still love how Planetes looks.
Whenever I decide to kill myself and do a studio spotlight of Sunrise, when it gets to like their calling cards, I'm not going to have a section because they don't have a calling card. They don't have... Well, maybe if I'm discussing like just
if it's
in
a Gundam,
just in Mecha, they invented the whole cutaway part of the screen and have a character's face there. But aside from that, well, then again, they invented
because even Osamu Tezuka was doing that in Astro.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about this? I feel like it's do Sunrise only do really good stuff when animating something mecha?
No,
yes.
no.
Well,
no.
wait.
I disagree.
Planetes, like I was saying.
Planetes, Cowboy Bebop, and I know what Gaunt's gonna say.
Well, I don't really count Cowboy Bebop because that's basically Bone.
No, but that's not. That is not though. That is
Sunrise.
Sunrise. You cannot deny. Because then you'd also have to incorporate, for instance, Outlaw Star as well.
Yeah.
Like that's impossible to just not.
Well,
mention.
I think the main thing we're thinking about Sunrise like that is that they definitely have their comfort zone, and it's rare for them to do things that aren't mecha these days, anyway.
No, I agree.
Like they do it, like they do like Aikatsu and stuff like that, idol shows.
Yeah, but I think that's because they do Love Live,
and Love Live looks like shit.
I think they did Idolmaster. I'm not sure. Do they?
No, they didn't do Idolmaster.
The opinions of Alain do not reflect all of us.
They did Idolmaster. They did Idolmaster Xenoglacia, which is the Idolmaster mech show.
Yeah.
Oh man, God.
Okay, I got one for you guys. Studio Trigger.
That is whatever the lowest tier is. That one.
Yeah. Their average is like The Rock.
The thing is, I don't. When it comes to pure movement, if animation in this sense is more than just like isn't as much as like theming, color usage.
What the fuck are you talking about, dude? I'm the animator here. What are you talking about?
If it doesn't go that far, and we just talk about motion,
they're still not that high. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
they're still they're not high. They're not high.
They're objectively not that great.
They're not.
I'm just gonna break that out.
No. I'm not. I'm saying what I meant to say is, if we're not discussing animation in terms of that, then we're probably not going to put them very high.
I'm just saying that if we made it, okay, for instance, if we made, again, a demo reel, like if we just took samples, for instance, if we made a time code program that would take 30 seconds every 2 minutes, we would get a lot of boring shit that doesn't even look that great.
Yeah. Well,
and that's just how Trigger is.
Well, what is the best thing that Trigger has done? Is it the Witch?
Eno Battle, by far.
No, best looking thing.
Eno Battle.
Inferno Cop.
Best looking thing. I'd still say it's somewhere in between.
The CGI part from the fight with Satsuki and Ryuko.
Well, those CGI the CGI fights between Sasuke and Ryuko are probably the highlights of Kill la Kill.
All of the cutouts in Kill la Kill.
Fuck off, please.
It's Eno Battle, right? There's no question. It's
is it
Eno
really?
Battle. I would say Eno Battle, or if you're counting it, because it's not a series, but the Parade, like Little Witch Parade.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Little Witch Parade it's the best looking thing.
It is the best.
Both of Little Witch.
I loved it.
Yeah, and the thing is, also Trigger's a bit too young to tell. That's why.
Well, I don't know, because we just mentioned Mappa, and they're just as young, and they're on point.
No, they are not just as young, because Mappa has more shows than
they have more shows, but in terms young refers to
but you just
age.
said young.
When I say age, I mean the amount of shows.
You mean you want resume?
Well, that's not age then. That's just resume.
They don't have a long enough resume to discuss then.
Okay, well then let's bring this up. I still think even Studio Passione looks better than Trigger, and they're even younger.
I agree. Studio Passione.
Yeah, true.
Do better.
I guess the only thing, like, I would say, if we're just talking about like proper technical skill, I mean, but Trigger have a far more defined aesthetic than Passion.
Yes,
I would say, which I guess is the thing that would tip them in their favor.
And at this point, I'm not trying to say Trigger is some kind of bastion of great animation or anything. I know they aren't.
They are very distinct.
They are very distinct, and I do like them.
Shaft. Same thing with Shaft. Shaft are very distinct.
Yeah,
they do have a fan base.
They're distinct, and I like them.
Style.
Yeah,
but then again, Trigger's distinctiveness isn't their own. It's kind of the piece of Gainax that fell off.
But no.
Where would we put Gainax?
But no,
that's a good fucking question. Because
before we answer the where we put Gainax, let me refer to Alain's statement real quick. That, right, what you just said, I kind of understand, but I disagree with in terms of, if we're gonna say that, then that would mean that the part of, Sunrise, Cowboy Bebop was part of, is kind of the type of anime that Sunrise makes.
No one said that's not how it is, though.
We're
not disagreeing with that statement, because that's exactly what it is.
the type of anime that Sunrise makes.
I don't know why you think this is an insult.
No, this isn't an insult.
It's just how it is, Jimmy.
What I'm saying is, Hiroyuki Imaishi's style existed before he started working at Gainax.
But he was popularized because of Gainax.
He was popularized because of Gainax. He was popularized
style.
because of Gainax. And it became Gainax's style before he worked on like Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, it had a lot of callbacks, but there weren't that many shows that looked like that, aside from like Fooly Cooly.
Maybe.
And that's because Imaishi actually worked on Fooly Cooly a great deal.
Well, it's still
it's
from
got that style running through it.
Die Buster, yes, I'll agree with that one.
Yeah, I mean it's still just a fraction of Gainax that fell off and just kind of reformed itself. But to answer your question, I think Gainax, as far as that goes, because we're dropping this by the way, Jimmy.
Gainax definitely doesn't, like, on pure animation. I feel Gainax place is pretty high.
No, I feel like what's really weird, right, is that Gainax does
really?
They're consistent, but they're never wowing. I think that's the biggest thing. You never know when you're watching a Gainax anime. That's the biggest thing about a Gainax anime is that you never know
when I'm watching a Gainax anime these days, because I'm never watching a Gainax anime these days because they stopped making anime.
No, they didn't. That is not true. They made 2 shows in the past.
They make anime. It's just nothing that you'd realize.
They made shows. That doesn't mean they made shows.
They made stuff.
They made for the past
C3
for the past like.
Hey Jimmy, what Gainax show have you watched in the past?
Wasn't it Hokago the Player Desu?
They have made a show every year for the past 5 years. Medaka Box, C3 Boo, Magical Wars, Wish Upon Player.
What a resume!
You're hired, sir.
Wow, are you trying to impress me in this job interview?
Man, I can see you'll be a good addition to our company here at Studio Trigger.
Oh wow! The last genuinely great anime they made was the Mystic Archives of D'Artagnan, and that was like
and that's arguably genuinely good. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was way back.
Fucking Gun and Blonde kids, dude.
Because I mean, we can't even count Ava Rebuilds because that's Kara.
That's Kara.
No.
Yeah,
it's still
it's still Gainax, but it's not. That's not their responsibility.
It was a joint production.
It's not in their control.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if like Ava 4.0 was exclusively Kara.
Oh no,
to be
Ava
honest.
4.0 is actually exclusively Kara.
Okay.
Because Gainax is now losing all of the
Gainax is dead,
right.
Man. I feel so bad for them.
Gainax is dead.
Actually
a moment of silence for Gainax.
Gainax actually lost the rights to Ava, I think, 2 years ago.
Oh my god, where are they going to make their money?
They're not.
It's over.
It's over.
What's
The
that
dream's
smell?
dead.
Oh, bankruptcy. Oh yeah.
They're not
What is this?
They're going to go bankrupt. The thing is, right, what I find funny is people seem to forget, but back in like the early 2000s, there was also a dead zone around the "He is my master, ugly yet beautiful girl" era.
Hey, man! He is my master is pro.
You know? Do you want to know what? Do you want to know what saved them back then?
Not really.
Gurren Lagann is what saved them back then.
I don't know about that one.
It
Oh
is.
yeah, that's their sort of the two frontier shows of Gainax are Ava.
No, it is, but I don't think that was whenever they were financially needing it. I think
they
actually.
I'm pretty sure they're more desperate now than they were back then.
But the thing is, right? They might pull out. They do have talent working there. Because I watch Magical Wars and Wish Upon Pleiades, and I don't like them, but I watch them and I see talent there. I see that the people there still know how to animate. Like Gainax still knows how to make a good show, but they just don't have a good.
There's no doubt. I mean, but
there's no visionary. There's no visionary there, because that's the thing about Gainax. They've always been directed by visionaries. If it's Anno, if it's Yamaga, if it's Imaishi, if it's Yoshinari, like they need people who are like great minds to push them in the right direction, and they don't have that right now. All of them have gone off to make their own studios, and that's a problem.
I mean,
I feel like that is a trend nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, like, for instance, like Troika, right? Like, let's bring up Troika. Because Troika is a really good example, because when you have people like Aoki leave and just make their own shit, and what's really interesting, like, for instance, right? You have the new anime that they're going to be making with the writer of Code Geass, right? And it's just going to be crazy successful. Like,
Actually, Kotetsujo no Kabaneri.
Guilty Crown 2, yes please.
Kotetsujo no Kabaneri is actually, because it's basically, wasn't it made by the exact same team?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same team as Code Geass.
Exact same team. It's not Code Geass.
No, of Geass. I mean, of Guilty Crown, but it has the writer of Geass and some of the other.
It has the writer of Geass and the director of Attack on Titan. Which is the same thing that Guilty Crown had.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Tetsuo Araki is an amazing director. He prints money. Like,
and
the thing is, I've only really been into, I think, 2 of his shows. I've only been
I've liked all of his shows. I think they're all good.
Well, okay, what shows are there?
High School of the Dead.
Of course.
High School of the Dead and Death
Jimmy,
Note.
you're such a pervert.
And Death Note. Those are the only 2 shows.
Oh my god, Jimmy, you're disgusting.
3 of his shows. High School of the Dead, Guilty Crown, and Death Note. Those are the 3 shows I've been into.
Oh man, tangent for a bit. But speaking of Death Note, has anyone started watching the Death Note J drama?
I don't know why, but I don't want to watch it. It just
look, man, it's actually like really good. So basically, well, let's put it like this: like when you have something that you're so familiar with the source material that's been adapted again and again. Yeah. And so what this new Death Note adaptation has done is it's changed like so many things, and it's completely different. Like it's got a lot of the same key events, but it turns so much on its head. Like some of the characters act completely different. The way the characters act, the way the characters meet, and various things in it are completely turned on their heads to the point where it's fresh again and it's interesting again. It's definitely worth checking out.
How does it compare to the anime? Because the biggest thing I remember I watched the Death Note live action films, and the biggest thing I didn't like about that was that some of the scenes just didn't have much impact, even though the stories are really good.
It's definitely lacking that in the same way. It hasn't got the same sort of visual flair, I guess is the way of putting it. Like it's fairly, I guess, bland in terms of direction. But if you sort of want to consume the same story again, but experience it in a very different way, because I mean the definite live action films, they were pretty much to the point until they made a change towards the end to allocate like an ending that could wrap up in 2 films as opposed to 50 episodes or whatever, 30 episodes.
It's true.
But with this, they've changed everything. Like from the first episode, like Light is an entirely different character now.
Is he less of a bellend?
He's not a sociopath anymore. Basically,
Really?
he's just like a normal guy.
He's a no. Wait, does he still become evil though?
I don't know. The show's not over.
Yes, to an extent, but he's definitely he's less of like he's not a perfect genius. He makes mistakes. Like he's far more human than original Light.
And what's L like? Then?
I love the original Light.
L is very similar. Because I mean you can't really change L, but he's still got different quirks and things like that.
Is he still L? Like does he still do the?
Is he still Moe?
No, does he still do the typical L quirks?
He's beautiful as well.
Like does he?
Just putting that out there.
Does he eat too much sugar?
He doesn't eat shit. What he's got instead of fucking sugar and stuff, he's got these like you know those little energy juice packs that are in those like cartons.
Sure. Yeah, like the lemon ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gets a little bit of on his sleeve, and he gets Watari to change his shirt like every 2 minutes.
Oh my god.
It's a good watch though. I'm really enjoying it.
That sounds really cool. But I do think that Kotetsu
5 episodes out currently.
Kotetsuju no Cantabile, which is gonna be made by WIT, not Troika, but it has Troika working on it, but they're secondary and shit. But it's made by WIT, and it's gonna be fucking crazy successful. Tetsuo Araki, Ichiro Kotechi.
As I pointed out earlier, I wouldn't put WIT too high, even though
I would still put WIT fucking like up there. Like they're up there. Like
what tier?
Second highest.
Again? Second highest?
Second highest, easy.
I wouldn't put them second. I'd put them.
I would put them.
I would easily put them like 1.5 or 2. Like
what else have they even done since Titan? I'm forgetting.
They've done quite a lot. They've done Rolling Girls and they've done Seraph.
Oh, Rolling Girls! I forgot about Rolling Girls. That felt like what Trigger wanted to do.
Yes,
but just
it really did.
It was a Trigger show, but just looked
better. It's a way more fun version.
And I liked it, and I really did like it.
It's a lot better than Killer Kill. I love it.
It didn't stick the landing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'd say between it and then of course Attack on Titan and of course Seraph of the End, they're just a powerhouse. Every single show has been made with such unbelievable detail and like just practical usage of like everything.
And I also don't like the.
But that doesn't mean okay. First off, you're just bitching because I know you don't like anything that they've made really other than like that. But we're just saying from a pure animation standpoint, they are a force to be reckoned with. When
the Sakuga kicks in, they are a force to be reckoned with.
Even when it's not, everything they look is just so like unbelievably detailed. And,
I would say that even Attack on Titan is their worst looking show.
Yeah. And that says a lot when Attack on Titan is your worst looking show.
Most definitely.
I'll have to go back and watch Seraph again because Seraph, to me, had a few glaring issues, especially with its backgrounds and how the characters interacted with the backgrounds.
See, I get that because it's the idea that it's hand painted and the other one everyone's not. They're all digital.
No. That's not it. Like hand painted backgrounds can work. Look at Ghibli. That they make them work.
It's funny because Ghibli, side tangent, is very important because it directly relates to this, and that was Ghibli is shutting down and now opening a subsidiary which exclusively makes anime backgrounds.
Are you serious? Well, I mean,
I'm not even joking.
Wow.
They're making a company that will outsource and do animation backgrounds if you bring them your anime.
Why not just do all backgrounds in that place? Because you'd guarantee to be having amazing backgrounds.
Yeah, because Ghibli's backgrounds are hand painted and fucking amazing.
Yeah,
that's all. I kid you not. You can look it up. It's a really crazy piece of news.
But as I was saying, I don't really think. How can I put this?
You just don't like the shows. That's the biggest difference.
Shut the fuck up, Holden. I like good shows.
Then okay, what is wrong with them?
They don't interact with the backgrounds well, and it looks jarring.
Bullshit. Attack on Titan and Rolling Girls have some of the most background interaction I've ever seen.
When you step onto a step and their foot is going somewhere in the ether and it's all hand painted and it looks.
You gotta give me screen caps, man. I don't believe you.
Fuck.
This is
I don't
bullshit.
have the show on hand to show this to you. But
I've missed this.
You can't prove it, so you're wrong.
Oh gosh. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Anyway, as I was saying, I
Wit is a
would put
fantastic looking studio.
put Wit up there, but I don't think they're like.
Because even if you bring up like the God, what was it? The Hoseki no Red Tetsu, I think, the one with the devil horn
I've seen
guy,
that one.
and it looks amazing.
Which
That
one?
show looks nice.
This one looks amazing.
I actually haven't seen that one.
Suzuki no Retetsu.
It's
Yeah.
like a really, really it's a comedy show that I think would appeal to very, very specific people, but not very many. It's kind of one of those things where it's full of loaded with Japanese cultural humor that you just can't get.
So like it's so it's like Joshiraku.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Joshiraku?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I
It just doesn't
have
look that
not.
good.
I like Joshiraku.
I'll tell you one thing
Is-
about
is-
Hoseki no Reitetsu is it has literally the best opening in the history of anime.
It's really good.
It's so good. Jiboku. It's so good.
It's
I love
really
it.
fun.
I love it to
Is
pieces.
there anyone else good we missed? Because obviously we have the things like
There's a lot of studios, of course, but yeah. As far as the hardest hitting,
Go Hands.
Go Hands actually looks
Satellite.
studio.
Hands.
Dean.
Okay, Dean is at the bottom.
Feel.
Dean is at the bottom.
no, Dean is just above Trigger.
The thing about, first of all, that's very insulting.
First off, it was meant to be.
Second of all, I don't know how no pun intended. I don't know how to feel about Studio Feel.
Jimmy, after we're done recording, you're gonna marathon the first 5 episodes of Makara no Dachi, which will take you all of quarter of an hour, and then you'll come back and you'll be like, feel are better than Studio Ghibli.
The thing about Studio Feel is I've my only experience with them, and I albeit this isn't necessarily a good one.
Well, I think, Jimmy, have they successfully made you pop a boner on more than 2 occasions?
No.
There it
You
is.
haven't watched enough Kiss
Okay,
Exes?
No,
Do
like
you think this tier of whatever, like the I don't know, what should we call this tier?
The impromptu tier that we made on episode whatever this is.
Yeah. So what about like the shonen ones, like Periots?
oh, you mean those ones?
So yeah,
okay.
those ones.
Or
Because the thing about them,
Studio
Wait, where the fuck does
Do you know
Toei
the-
sit,
Do you know
man?
the do you know the do you know what the messed up thing is? This is one reason why I say like if we're gonna go by average, then some studios will end up really bad. But it surprises me. It keeps surprising me.
That is why we're doing average.
How some shows just keep looking so kick-ass, even though the studio making them have no business making them look that good. Like, have you seen some of the Sakuga in like Naruto? Or
yeah,
Bleach?
yeah. The thing about them is that they apparently spend all their budget for the month or the fucking year in one episode,
Yep.
and then apparently they just sort of spread out the budget.
It's more like they were given when they know an episode is really important, they ask for more money. So they ask for more money and they hire like top tier animators to work on it.
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing with the Naruto Pain fight though.
That's like the best part as well.
Let me tell you.
It was.
There are people who hate it, and there are people. It's a very divisive fight.
Yeah,
very
it is.
divisive. I think
It
they
is.
did a fine job.
I
Even
think
though-
I was like, wow, this is like a really cool Newgrounds. Wait, what? This is the anime?
Speaking of
this isn't the
Newgrounds,
Newgrounds video?
You know what's a fun game we can play after this? We can go through all of the studios we put in the top 2 tiers and then say what we think are the best looking shows from those
each one.
studios. I think
That'd be an
that'd
interesting.
a fun game.
That's a really good idea for a future episode. For sure.
KyoAni and what's it called? KyoAni and Ufotable. That's pretty easy to find the best looking shows from both of those studios.
It depends on what you're looking for.
Oh no, KyoAni is pretty fucking consistent.
Yeah.
Like,
KyoAni doesn't have a KyoAni doesn't have a best looking show. KyoAni doesn't have a bad show.
They've got a worse looking show, and
Yeah.
that's.
yeah.
What?
I mean, it depends. I mean, I would say, of course, Nichijou.
But
yeah, Air.
I know Holden wanted to say Nichijou just to fuck with me. But
No, I mean, but I believe it too. That's the difference.
believe it.
is it
Yeah,
having a stylistic difference doesn't make the show look bad?
yeah. It just so happened that way, I guess. Then. But yeah, I mean, like, because even if you look at their modern stuff, right? Even if you look at Amagi Brilliant Park, which didn't get the same treatment as the other stuff, it's still fantastic.
It looked Amagi brilliant. I'll put
Yeah.
it that way.
Why
It
did
looks-
Amagi Brilliant Park just not get?
Amagi Brilliant Park is
just-
the most impressive KyoAni show that they've done since Yokai.
Yeah, it's like
I love it.
really,
And-
I really enjoyed it.
It's really great. I really think
Nobody talked about
Hibiki
it. It was fantastic.
Euphonium. Hibiki Euphonium, right? Also really great. But Amagi Brilliant Park is the most unlike Kyo anything I think I've ever seen them do.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know why? Because Maggie Brilliant Park is one of the only straight up.
It's a light novel.
It's one of the only straight up shonen targeted light novels they've adapted, and they haven't.
Such a specific criteria.
Yeah, like they haven't adapted that many. They haven't adapted that many like shonen targeted anything since
Fullmetal Panic.
Fullmetal Panic, yeah, since Fullmetal Panic.
Fullmetal Panic, yeah.
Like they haven't adapted.
Third raid when.
Third raid.
Harry season 3 when. Harry.
Third raid never ever.
I honestly would rather have a third raid than a third Harry.
I don't know. I'm equal.
I would pick Harry.
Just because the way Disappearance ended.
That's only because Disappearance is like one of the most impressive anime films to exist, though.
It really is.
I think I'm just biased because I love robots, like real bad.
True.
I get a robo boner like 3 times a day.
It's like you have a choice between a robot and just an ADHD girl.
I mean, I don't know if you love robots more than Tristan, because people who aren't on Skype can't see this, but for the past, I think, 4 years.
It's been since we've known him on Skype. He's had Yuki Nagato as his profile picture.
Tristan's had Yuki Nagato as his profile picture.
It's like a memorial in this point. Whereas like right now, I have like the Poochie eye mask thing, which says A Lamau.
And obviously, me being me, I have, Huey. I have Huey from the Boondocks, which is my avatar on literally everything.
Everything.
Because you cannot identify with just another human being.
like there's no other fictional character who I can identify with at all as much as Huey.
Jimmy's like, I want to be the MC. Let me be the MC. You'll never be the MC. I cry.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think we've covered a lot this episode, though. But I love Alain. I think that we should do a follow-up sometime
I love
in the
you
future.
too, Holden.
I do love you, but the idea, I think it's a really good idea that we should bring up sometime in the future.
You said you also brought up the idea of, okay, in terms of shonen studios. Oh well, I don't really think there's such a thing as a shonen studio, because there's loads of studios. There's loads of studios that will every big studio has adapted at least one.
Okay. Long running show.
Then Madhouse falls.
Yeah,
Madhouse was still winning because.
Oh yeah, well.
It's ironic because
currently still running show.
Yeah, because Madhouse.
even if you get rid of,
not only is Madhouse winning,
even if you get rid of Hunter x Hunter,
because Madhouse is gonna
still have iShield 21.
Yeah, Madhouse is still going to start winning again, even this October with One Punch Man. Like,
well, the thing is, how long is that gonna run?
Not very long. One Punch Man's like
that's like a season.
There's like 3 words per chapter as well.
And the thing about One Punch Man is some of these chapters are just like basically animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they just want to basically do the in between.
Can I just say, like,
I think
holy shit!
What was really
I can't
interesting
fucking wait for One Punch Man.
Is that what's weird about iShield 21 is that Madhouse only did a few episodes, because a lot of it was IG, and then what was even weirder was that more of it was handed over to another studio, which is called Studio Gallop, and so like. Yeah, it's weird, right? But like,
I mean, fuck me. Can IG just animate every shonen sports anime from now on? Like, can they can't do
because whenever they did do iShield 21, it was fantastic. But then of course they transitioned and made Kuroko years later.
And they're doing Haikyuu as well, which is also very very good.
I didn't like iShield 21 because they gave it. I didn't like the iShield 21 anime.
I knew I was gonna
because they get. I mean. I don't know. Did they have to look like Super Saiyans when they were running down the field?
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Jimmy, he was running.
Is that even a question?
The freaking yards in 4.1 seconds. How could he not?
I think that's what I love about Murata Yusuke. The guy who does One Punch Man, the artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All this shit is just so unbelievably epic when he does it.
It's the visual metaphors that make iShield what it is. Like the crashing waves, the spiders, the everything like that is what makes iShield so hype.
Yeah, it's kind of like Air Gear, right? Where it's like,
what
makes Air Gear
what was the studio? What was the studio
is
that
this
made
Ogura Ito just having all these, like, I'll have one-page spreads of just crazy visual metaphors that just make perfect sense in context.
The Air Game manga's got such fucking gorgeous art.
I'm trying to remember.
It needs like a full adaptation, and I would like them to fix the ending because the ending of the Air Game manga's proper.
It's it was
Toei.
Yeah, me and God saw this at the same time. We'll say like, "Oh, who made Air?" And then we see the name. Oh, it's Toei.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
I mean, the thing about Toei is that they make a lot of money and shit, but they just can't animate for shit.
Actually, funny enough, my favorite anime from 2013?
I don't know, Jimmy. You tell me.
One of my favorite anime from 2013
was it Sailor Moon,
which was Gigguk.
Oh yeah, Gigguk was pro. Gigguk was so fucking good.
Was that Toei? I had no idea.
I had no idea it was Toei.
Funny enough, that was Toei. And you wouldn't think it was because it actually had a soul. The show actually had a soul.
That's very anti-Toei. That's like
you would think Rie Kugumiya wouldn't make. Oh, was it Rie? It wasn't even Rie Kugumiya. That's not the name. That's the voice actress.
That's the Cinderella voice actress.
That's the voice actress.
That's a very, very recognizable name.
Yeah, that's like the woman who just like you want to like beat you.
That's the voice actress. Rie Matsumoto is the name. Yes.
Okay, that's like getting Moro Hosoda confused with Mamoru Miyano. All right.
Oh my god.
That's true.
How high is your power level, viewers, today? Holy shit. Nobody's gonna know what's going on.
Everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Everyone's just gonna be like, oh, how do you spell that?
Yeah, these are some high-tier weeb jokes, guys.
Yeah.
High tier.
Speaking of Rie Matsumoto, do you think she's here to stay? Do you think she's a director that could make a real name for themselves? Because so far they've made two good shows, Kyosugiga and Kekkai Sensen.
Kekkai Sensen, yeah.
Kekkai Sensen. Well, we'll have to see how Kekkai Sensen ends when the last episode.
When the last episode finally
in 20 years' time.
Okay, there, Tristan. With the ending is paramount. I think regardless, I think it's still pretty good.
Yeah, but why is it taking so long?
I think who cares?
I think it's just because they can't find a time slot to just broadcast it.
Yeah, I think
because they miss the opportunity, and there's like the Shirobako. Like I just imagine there's just a director who's just fucking panicking the shit and just trying to draw storyboards or whatever. But I think what's happened is they just missed the opportunity to broadcast it, and there just hasn't been a time slot to find to broadcast the finale.
Yeah, I just don't think there is. Maybe in like a month they're gonna have it on the Netflix like world premiere when on like September 2nd. They're just gonna be like, "Hey, launching Netflix, here you go." Like that'd be ridiculous. It'd be awesome. Because I mean we haven't had this since like Madoka was the last like major one.
What did you think of Kekkai Sensen, Jimmy?
What did I think of Kekkai Sensen?
He loved it.
I love it. It's one of my favorite animes of the year. But at the same time,
now ask me what I think of it, Garnet.
What do you think of it, Holden?
It's not that great.
Me and Holden have.
Honestly,
here's the thing, right? It is. Here's the thing, Garnet. I think we'll agree on this. It's a really cool anime, right?
It is.
It is, but it is like watching this like food fight, right? It is such a mess sometimes. They're just like, what is going on? There was no point in Kekkai Sensen where I didn't feel like I forgot or didn't know something that was going on or why it was happening.
That's just because it's too deep for you and you're stupid.
Maybe I am, and I think you're right on that respect, but it was just so ridiculous.
Holden and I just have very different, damn near incompatible views on anime.
And that's not wrong. Because someone in the audience is sympathizing with each of us, so it's all working out.
And I feel
stop bullying Jimmy, guys. It's not funny.
Stop bullying Holden.
Jimmy, stop bullying Holden.
The messed up thing is me and Holden are two of the closest friends on this podcast, but we've never agreed on a fucking thing.
No, it's really very rare. But
I would say.
I mean, like here's the thing. Like, God, what do you think then?
I think it's all right. I think
agree.
What happened.
I'm not saying it's bad because it's not. There's a clear line where bad is, and it's way above that. It stands
out because this year in anime just hasn't been great. It hasn't.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that.
This year's better. This year's fucking
Macrono Danshi.
This year's way better than last year. Way better.
I think 2015 is a fantastic year.
2015,
but that's a whole different video that we'll do.
Yeah.
But
2015 is
I get what you're saying. You're saying it's one of the standouts in that sense.
Yeah, it's definitely the standout in the sense that in my opinion, you know, it's the best of an average bunch. And that's just my opinion of the year anime. I mean, we've had a few really good shows.
And a lot of stuff that you probably haven't watched. I think that's the important thing. Because there's a lot of stuff, I think... What's weird about this year is there's a lot of stuff you wouldn't expect to be good that is. And that's just because a lot of the stuff that may be good is made by people that you wouldn't expect. For instance, Studio Passione, right? We would never expect them to make a show that I'm enjoying this much other than Rail Wars. And considering this isn't Rail Wars 2, I'm surprised I'm enjoying it.
This is nothing like Rail Wars. Like, that's the thing. And I am enjoying Rock and Yusha. That's one of my favorites.
But again, like Rock and Yusha, as much as I loved the first episode and I like some of the stuff that they're doing, it's the amount of exposition as well that's still getting me. Which is why I don't like light novel adaptations.
Yeah, and that's the same reason I hate
says the Monogatari fan.
Huh?
Kekai Sensen, that's like my biggest problem with it. Is just the exposition and everything just makes no sense. Like, and it's so nonsensical. It's like, God's eyes and shit. Maybe it was just the first episode was just really messy. Because I don't remember getting that bad ever again.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't feel in control, ever. It feels like a bunch of people were simultaneously making every episode. Like,
have you seen Kyosugiga?
Of course.
You've seen it. I've
seen the OVAs as well.
You've seen the OVAs, so you know that's how Ria Kugumiya works.
And I never said that I liked it.
I know you don't like it.
The OVAs, though, are fucking awful.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
The OVAs made it like, okay, to anybody who's seen Kyosugiga but hasn't seen the OVAs.
Watch the OVAs, you'll be like me.
If you thought Kyosugiga was weird...
No, the thing is, Jimmy, if anyone who's seen Kyosugiga has seen the OVAs, because all the OVA stuff is in the series, but under actual context.
The thing is, if you've seen Kyosugiga but haven't seen the OVAs, watch them because you'll be like, what the fuck is going on?
But imagine watching it not knowing what it really meant.
Because there's a bunch of key differences. Because instead of her hugging her mom when she finds her, she kisses her. Because
Dude, Kiss Exorcist ended this year. Can we just moment of silence?
Yeah, it did. I couldn't believe it. I finished it.
It's like it was not on hold anymore after all those years.
Yeah, it was over, and I was like, man, what do I do with my life now without waiting, having a new episode of Kiss Exorcist every 7 months or however it was they were releasing them.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird time.
That show is super rude, man. There's one bit in it, where the girl that pees on the guy's head in one of the earlier episodes.
One of our favorite moments.
Yeah,
yes.
she's they're doing a checkup thing at school for their physical exam or whatever, and so she's gone to do a urine sample. She's running down the hallway with her urine sample, bumps into the protagonist. Urine sample falls on his head. He's got pee on his head.
Running down the hallway with his
quite the piss head.
It's quite the anime, is Kiss Exorcist.
It's an anime.
Yes, it's an anime that you may or may not should watch or whatever.
It is definitely an anime.
It is. Objectively, it is an anime.
Objectively, it definitely is an anime.
And it does exist.
With that said, though, I think we've been recording for a good while.
Yes.
So I think that's the good point to end it. So I hope you've enjoyed the second episode of this reboot of PodTaku thing. And with me today has been the same host as last time, which has been Holden from HoldenReviews.
You know it, kids.
Jimmy from Anime Editorial.
Howdy, bye-bye, sayonara minasan. Thanks for watching.
Alain from Bakashift.
Don't run with cups of pee.
And I've been Gigguk from the Anime Zone, and I'll see you guys next time with maybe some more cast members.
Jimmy's a crack whore!
Confirm.
Shut the fuck up, Jimmy.
Jimmy's a crack whore!
Confirm.
Shut the fuck up, Jimmy. You know all the comments are just going to be fucking that now.
Well, no, because you're going to edit it out.